What are you doing to better your world? That's the question we're going to tackle on today's House Call.
Girls, their outward expression of trauma have not been met with resources or community support, but with further criminalization. Nearly 100% of girls arrested in D.C. are Black.
So we are here with Samantha Paige Davis, founder of Black Swan Academy, which is a Washington, D.C. based nonprofit organization that is focused on empowering young people to become change agents. Tell me about Black Swan Academy.
Yeah, so Black Swan Academy is an organization I founded in 2014 in the aftermath of the Trayvon Martin verdict. And its sole purpose is really to address systemic racism, address various inequities that people in this country experience. And our belief is that in order to truly create change, that change needs to be led by the people who are impacted most, i.e. Black youth.
Yeah.
And we work with Black youth in middle school and high school, giving them skills to do organizing work, to do advocacy work, to understand the way that public policy impacts their everyday lives.
Okay.
And we support them in creating that change.
How does it work on a daily basis? What are you doing?
Yeah, so we run after school programs that has a curriculum focused on civic leadership and engagement. So we teach middle school and high schoolers about Black history, about self-esteem building, the importance of being proud about who you are and where they come from. We talk about service learning. So what are the issues in your community? And then how can you make an immediate impact? And we talk about power. So in order to have power in this country, you need to be involved and connected in your community.
Right.
And so how do we gain power for Black people in this country? And how do we create change through the lens of advocacy or community organizing?
Okay. I like this. You're creating leaders. You're essentially empowering them with the skills to be good leaders one day.
Yeah, one day and now. So the young people we work with, it's not just about giving them the skills, it's also about giving them the opportunities to apply those skills today. And they are the ones engaging city council every single year, having meetings, doing full campaigns to get mental health supports in their schools, to reduce suspension, all types of things that impact their everyday lives. And
you are a Pittsburgh native, and you are the daughter of Pittsburgh royalty, right? I mean,
sure, we'll take it. I'm the daughter of Tamara Davis, and the daughter of Sam Davis, who is a former ex-Steeler, 4-time Super Bowl winner.
Yeah. I mean, he was there in the heyday. This is Pittsburgh lore. What was it like coming up like that?
Yeah, so my father is older.
Okay.
And so I was not born when he was actually playing.
Okay.
I have 5 older siblings. My experience is very different than theirs. Where they actually were seeing him play, were around during the heyday of the Steel Curtain and all of that.
Right.
But growing up as the daughter of Sam Davis and in a city that loves their Steelers and loves football in general, there's definitely some privilege that came along with that. Franco Harris often came to when you're like, take your dad or take your whoever to school day, right? We brought Franco Harris, and it's like, oh,
that's cool.
Right. So it was very
Franco,
cool.
That's all.
And I think it taught me most. I just have a extreme sense of pride in who I am and whose I am. And part of that is because of my overall upbringing. But I would lean towards saying that also part of it is being the daughter of Sam Davis and being able to see the impact that someone can make, the legacy that someone can leave when you are committed to whatever it is that you love, when you're committed to your community and pouring in and investing in everyone around you. So it's definitely shaped my philosophy on life.
And he recently passed.
He did.
I was sorry to see that.
Thank you.
But you and I have known each other a while, and this might surprise you. I literally didn't know that your dad was a Steeler.
But because the dynamics with my father are very interesting. They're unique.
Okay.
But also my father at a very young age, when I was very young, got hurt. And I grew up with him in a care home, in a personal care home. And so leading with my father is Sam Davis, twofolds. One, there's some like humble side of me that like doesn't want to talk about his football career. Right. But then there's this also part of, if I talk about my father, then I also had to talk about this like really traumatizing experience and where he is right now. And go through a whole life story, which is just too much to get into when I'm meeting people.
Oftentimes you would choose to just leave that out.
Right.
And just do your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I were being honest, I haven't really started honoring my father until very recently. So this past May, we actually had a scholarship in his name and my mother's name. The Sam and Tamara Davis Family Scholarship. And that was our first opportunity to really honor him. So it's been an interesting year in reflection and who he is, who he was in Pittsburgh, who he was in my life, and how I've kind of navigated around it for the most part.
So there's been some recent growth on this issue for you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I like it, growth. But then that leads me to my next question, which is, you create this cool organization, empowering young people, speaking to the experiences of Black people, Black youth, and you don't do it in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. When I tell you the guilt and the shame that is associated with not doing work in Pittsburgh, it's something that I've been trying to unpack and like deal with. And so there's a number of reasons why I'm not doing it in Pittsburgh. One is I made a very intentional decision to leave Pittsburgh, to be in Pittsburgh with such a small population of people of color, Black people in particular. I've always grown up with like this deep sense of like isolation and othering. But I always say that Pittsburgh is one of the most racist cities that I've experienced, and I travel a lot. And so I wanted to go to DC, which was known for Chocolate City. It was like, let me see what this let me see what this experience could possibly be like.
And your experience of Pittsburgh is not strange. I mean, there's a lot of commotion right now about a recent article that said Pittsburgh is literally the worst major city for Black people to live in. So clearly there are others who would echo your sentiments, and that speaks volumes to the impact of that, right? Because if Pittsburgh being that type of experience led you, a rising star, to go someplace else. Which, not to add to your guilt, but that does then leave a void that that is maintained for the Black youth in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. And my mother says all the time that like I wish like Pittsburgh needs a Black Swan. I agree wholeheartedly. And we are exploring ways to expand the model that we're doing in DC. And I have also been recently trying to figure out ways that I can make an impact in Pittsburgh, which is like one of the reasons we're doing the scholarship. I am now back in Pittsburgh like every other month or more.
Which is why we were able to get you here.
Which is why we're here. Trying to find ways that I can still make an impact and support the great work that is happening in Pittsburgh.
Because I'm glad you said that. There are people who are doing great things in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely.
There are people impacting communities, particularly Black communities. There are people doing the work. And so let's not pretend that there aren't people doing that. But there is a void in Pittsburgh.
There is a void, and there is such a great need. The one thing that's interesting about Pittsburgh is that I often talk about Pittsburgh being one of the most racist cities, but it is also where I have never experienced a sense of Black community the way I've experienced it in Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so in the need to fill like those isolations, I found myself in Pittsburgh always in very Black spaces. Like I went to a all Black church, a historical Black Presbyterian church, Grace Memorial Presbyterian Church, where I was surrounded by leaders, like activists, people who are in history books. And that's an experience that I wouldn't have had anywhere else. So because there's such a great need in Pittsburgh around these racial dynamics, I think it has forced the Black community in Pittsburgh to join together and unify in this very like beautiful, brilliant, powerful way.
And recently, Essence Magazine named you as one of the Woke 100.
Yeah.
And I looked at this list. That's a serious list.
It is a very serious list, and the humble side of me does not really know still to this day how to like process it. It's an honor to be on that list. Some of the people who I have admired for years and for decades are on that list. People who very recently I've been working with are on that list. And yeah, so there's a part of me that's like, why am I on this list?
Yeah.
If I were being honest.
Yeah.
And then also like very honored and humble to be on the list with people like Ayanna Pressley and Fatima Gross Graves, and Michelle Obama is on that list. So yeah, it's great.
Whenever you ask yourself, why am I on that list? Because you deserve to be on that list.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
You are doing cool stuff. People noticed it, and you know, you were recognized, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And so it speaks volumes to what you're doing at Black Swan. If you had a magic wand and could fix Pittsburgh, DC, America, what would you say it is that you're trying to fix?
The vision I have is that we're creating a world where Black people can be human, and free to live their full authentic selves, free to make mistakes without fear of death. Right. And that is where I want to get us to. In order to do that, I think we need to look at kind of the large social systems that run the country. How are we addressing education? How are we addressing housing? How are we addressing economic status? And what does that look like? But I do think it all starts with really at a very simple level of how are we building and connecting with one another? How are we loving each other? And how are we being intentional about honoring people's lived experience?
Yeah. And someone who hears what you just said and says, I'm behind it, I want to help her. What can they do to support Black Swan Academy?
You could donate.
There it is. Money, right?
So you can donate. You can also, one of the things that has been frustrating with doing this work centered around youth leadership is that as powerful and brilliant as young people are, we're talking about systemic change, a lot of that is through elected officials. Yeah. A lot of elected officials really require this idea that someone is going to vote for me. If I take this action, then I need to get a vote associated with that. Right. And young people don't have voting power in this country. And so we do really need to rely on our adult allies in this space to get behind young people, whether it's through Black Swan or in the cities that you're in, to get behind young people and say, this is an issue that young people have identified. This is the solution that young people have identified, and I trust them, and I want to support them, and I'm going to use my voice to help them. Is really what I need folks to do.
Yeah. But concretely, donating would be helping your cause on a daily basis, right?
Absolutely.
And how do they do that? I mean, what is there a website? Because I want to put it on the screen. It'll be right here. We're gonna put it right there.
Yep. Website blackswanacademy.org /donate. If you want to get people straight there.
Make sure you go to the donate page. Don't just go look around.
You can also sign up to stay in contact with us. So getting our e-newsletters, there's always calls to actions there that whether you're in DC or Pittsburgh or wherever else, you can take some type of action. In terms of donating, Facebook, you can donate on Facebook. We have a Facebook page there. We have Cash App. It's a new world. We about to go to 2020.
Whatever they got to do to take your money.
Basically, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, we got it all. But we're a small nonprofit and small Black woman-ran organization. It is hard to get that type of large support that we need to do large work.
Right. So maybe one of the things that these kinds of opportunities can create, one of the things we can do is maybe get some exposure for you in your program, so that all of my friends out there who are watching this, do me a favor, help her out, because we need people out here doing the work that you're doing, and I really do believe that we have to support it.
Thank you.
So if you have questions for Samantha Paige Davis, if you have comments, ideas, please let us know. go to our House Call with Dr. Rueben Brock Facebook page, find us on YouTube, leave a comment, let us know what you think, let us know what else you want us to talk about. We want to talk about the things that matter to you, but that's all I've got for today, and I'm Dr. Rueben Brock. This is House Call.